Today I messed up by being a hoe. I'm 32F, not particularly rigid when it comes to dating age ranges. I cast a wide net, and if a guy is a few years younger or older I don't really mind. And by a few I mean like give or take 10 years. So over the past couple months I've gone on a few dates with different guys, and I'll just say it, I hook up with different guys, I'm not ashamed to say it. Anyway, I hooked up with this younger guy who is 24 and another who is like 45. The 45-year-old was kind of one night stand who I kind of string along, but the 24-year-old is more like a regular thing already. Neither is really embarrassingly out of my own age range for casual dating. The 24-year-old is like a boy toy, not gonna lie. He doesn't really say much interesting, but we hooked up a handful of times already and he's into public sex, which I'm into as well. So 24-year-old invited me to an open house for a really fancy brand new apartment he said he was going to be working at. He's an agent. And we sexted about what we were gonna do, etc. I get to the open house wearing some sexy lingerie under my jacket that was supposed to get ripped off, and as I walk in, my 24-year-old boy toy is standing there with the 45-year-old who I also hooked up with. So I'm like, oh fuck, I guess, let me just. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, comes out of the mouth of the 45-year-old. Oh, hey, what's up, are you an agent? Boy toy is like, hey, you two know each other? 45-year-old is like, we have met, yeah, we met at the gym, I tell the boy toy. Then old guy is like, now I know why you haven't been able to meet up, cringe. Apparently boy toy was talking about me to his coworker and told him that we were going to hook up in the master bedroom because apparently they are work brothers despite being 20 years apart. Fuck. Didn't wind up hooking up in the master bedroom. Mood got killed and I did a walk of shame out of there. Boy toy texted me after and asked what was up. I had to come clean and tell him I hooked up with his coworker and just needed him to know. He was like, okay, well, we're just casual anyway, and he went back to sexting and asked what gym, lol. There was no gym. Too long. Didn't read. Two guys I hook up with work together and I came across as a hoe to them both. Edit, the puzzle of my life being assembled in the comments has me lamau when it's literally in the title. Today I messed up, wife broke my nose and I deserved it. Standard, this was about 5 years ago. Another important thing to note for this story is I can be a complete bell end sometimes. So my then fiancé, now wife, is very easy to frighten. As the oldest of 5 siblings and 13 cousins, it has always been my solemn duty to jump out at people in the dark or around corners to scare the shit out of them. No matter how many times I do this, I find it uncontrollably hilarious, especially if the person gets mad. I obviously carried this on when moving in with S, and she would get mad every time. The madder she got, the more I laughed, and the more I laughed, the madder she got. Anyway, one day, about 5 years ago, my car was in the garage and I'd come home by train, arriving a few minutes before S. As I got in and looked out of the window, she was just pulling up. With my car not being there, there was no way to know I was home. So I hid under the bed. She came in, shouted to see if I was home, and I didn't respond. I waited under the bed for the best part of 20 minutes before she finally came into the bedroom. As she walked past the bed, I reached out and grabbed her ankle while shouting "Rah!" Fair play to her, because she went into fight or flight and very much chose fight. With the reflexes of a cat and the strength of an ox, she span her other leg round and kicked me square in the nose. Even with blood pouring from my face, I was pissing myself laughing and she was fucking furious. Nose was broken and I learned my lesson. I haven't scared her even once since. And for some reason she didn't ditch me for being a bell end. We've been happily married for 3 years now. In fact, as I write this, I'm sat in the maternity ward looking at my beautiful sleeping wife and daughter who we welcomed yesterday. Too long. Didn't read. I hid under the bed to scare my wife and she kicked me in the face. Today I messed up by forwarding a message to my family group which made it seem like my husband is cheating on me. I'm in a triad. My girlfriend and husband had the same day off while I had to go to work. They were having fun and he sent me a selfie with both of them in our bed after having sex. It was pretty SFW, just their faces. He was just teasing. I texted back "I hate you," which is a joke because they both know it makes me incredibly happy to know they are spending time together. It is a pick-me-up for me. I took a screenshot of the chat. I meant to forward it to my girlfriend and tease her/flirt with her. Instead, I forwarded it to my family group. My boss had called me just that second and I didn't see who I sent it to. Then I attended a meeting for an hour. The group was a mess. My poor husband took all the abuse my family threw at him. He implied that I knew about this, but of course they didn't believe it, and since I didn't respond. After the meeting, I came out to them and told them about the triad. They are all being weird about it. TLDR, I sent a picture of my husband and girlfriend to my family group. My husband got dragged before I could correct them. Today I messed up by making a small packaged joke about myself. I sometimes joke about having a small penis. I prefer saying I'm on the small size since most guys say they have a big one. Now, I didn't think it was small. It's not big, but definitely not small, or so I thought. It's usually all in good fun and makes people laugh. Up until today, I've never made this type of joke with a woman I've slept with. I also don't usually make this type of joke around women unless we have a certain dynamic. To be clear, I was not looking for validation or objection, but when I made the joke, she laughed and appeared to agree. Even though I wasn't looking for an objection, her response hit me by surprise. I am now haunted by this, and now I'm doubting the women that have said they were satisfied. Our encounter was several years ago, so she might just not remember. I'm also thinking I left her unsatisfied, and that's the reason we haven't revisited things despite my best efforts. Update: thanks for the response. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things based on common responses. It wasn't the laugh, it was what she said along with it. I would put here what she said, but it wouldn't make sense out of the context of the conversation we were having at the time. I wasn't looking for validation or her to straight out disagree. It was just her response that took me by surprise and made me think about what she thought of my size. As far as I know, my size hasn't mattered and I've satisfied most of my partners, or so they say.